another land use issue. The Hoboken Housing Authority, at our last meeting, we have a meeting tomorrow night. And at our last meeting, the Vision 2020 plan was formally introduced to the public. I know I, for one, had certain concerns about what it could do in its state at that time to the quality of life of people in the Housing Authority and people citywide. We've had 2 committee meetings of the committee that is overseeing that process on the Housing Authority. And last Friday, a plan was presented to our committee that I find to be a much better plan, toned down, where it keeps the amount of open space that is provided to people who live in that area. It still does the most important goal of that plan, which is to create updated housing facilities for people in the Housing Authority throughout the entire main campus, which has about 806 units, I believe, now. And it will, to do that, you'd have to, and not displace anybody, you'd have to try to put through the process of the zoning board and such a new building. That building was, in the original plan, called for it to be right alongside the senior building. It would have blocked a tremendous amount of air and light to the senior citizens. It would have had major construction going on right across from Connor School. There would have been a number of problems with it. The committee went out. We were asked by all parties involved to try to identify a better site, and we did identify the large parking lot, which is on Harrison Street, closest to the administrative offices. And Dean Marchetto, who's been working on the plans, and the Housing Authority Director, who wanted to make sure there weren't going to be any problems with HUD getting that site developed, found that that was a more suitable site for an initial building. So that's sort of an overview of some of the key points of that plan, but that will be presented tomorrow in its revised form to the Housing Authority. I would encourage people to attend. The meeting's at Monroe Gardens, and it begins at 6 p.m.
I ask, any changes to the buildings in third, how that's phased in?
Yeah, the entire main campus. This plan calls for the entire main campus that's back on Jackson Street, Harrison Streets, and up into the 3rd Ward to be able to be replaced. But there was a number of problems I had with the buildings. They took on that donut sort of setting that the Upper Grand buildings have. You know, as a former Housing Authority Commissioner, that raises instantly both quality of life issues. There's a much higher propensity of families with older children in the Housing Authority. I was concerned that if their open space is limited to interior courtyards, that would greatly degrade their quality of life. And then from a public safety perspective, you have so much of your common area enclosed, it makes it much harder to properly manage from a public safety standpoint. So that has been eliminated from the plan. Blocks are entirely see-through. Building is on both sides, long sides of the block. There's actually a park, small park, on each, at the midpoint of the long side of each block. The short side of each block has parking that we've said we would look for a very permeable surface where there could even be grass in between, but where you could see from either side. The patrolman was going along either side of Mama Johnson Field. They would be able to see into the interior of all the blocks under this. So that's another major advantage, I think.
Last phasing, building, you know, phasing in, starting with.
It would be premature to do that, but the numbers were cut down. The initial proposal that I heard would have taken it from 800 units to about 1,900 units, which to me would have degraded the quality of life for the people that are there. I mean, you have families with older children. I teach middle school kids. You don't want to coop middle school kids up like that. It brings it down to, I think there would be about approximately 200 additional units, because you need some additional capacity in order to not displace people as you're tearing down buildings.
Still including potential retail space.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.